Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, student. Today the topic we will discuss is about shunt and series compensation in transmission line. So we will discuss about the placement of capacitor and inductors to compensate the voltage drop or power stability in transmission line by placing the capacitor or inductor or whatever the devices will be in shunt and series arrangement. So we will discuss in the next few slides about this. So move to the next slide, please. Okay, there are two types of compensation, that is reactive compensation in transmission lines, we also call this. So reactive compensation means adding series capacitors, series compensation, and a shunt reactors, shunt compensation, because these two components are belong to the reactive components, that is capacitor and inductor. A resistor obviously not included in that, but without resistor we cannot complete any circuit, because if we talk about the transmission line, if we talk about the generator, if we talk about the transmission, we already know that in motor, transmission line, and in generator there is a huge amount of inductor used, but every inductor or every conductor has some resistance. So we have to use resistance in series or parallel, whatever the arrangement we prefer for that. So here is the diagram for you. This one is the sending end or generation side with the step of transformer, and this is the bus bar. This one is the bus bar. So this is the compensation arrangement of the reactive component, that is capacitor, which is embedded in series with the transmission line on the both sides, like in generation side and the load side as well. So these are the reactors, or you can say that inductors uh, connected in parallel with the transmission line to compensate the power stability or the voltage drop. So we will discuss about the series and parallel combination. In short, we will discuss about series and shunt compensation of transmission line. So move to the next slide to discuss about the series compensation. Okay, series compensation we can define as a series compensation is the method of improving the system voltage by connecting a capacitor in series with the transmission line. So this is the most simple definition you can get. So in other words, you can say that in series compensation, reactive power is inserted in series with the transmission line for improving the impedance of the system. So side by side, it improves the power transfer capability of the line, and it is mostly used in extra and ultra high voltage lines. So we can say about the series compensation for that. Series compensation have some advantage. We will discuss these advantages can be increase in power transfer capabilities. Obviously, series compensation have several advantages actually, like in increased transmission capacity, improve system stability, control voltage regulation, or ensure proper load division among parallel feeders or distributors as well. So these advantages we will discuss step by step. So the most common one is the increased power transfer capability. Obviously, we compensate the transmission line by a series or parallel compensation to improve the power transfer capability, because if there is some voltage drop or there is a reactive or active power imbalance, so we will face the problems at generation and at the load end. So we use the compensation to increase the power transfer capability of the transmission line. So this the second one is the improvement in system stability, for same power transfer and for the value of sending and receiving and voltage, the phase angle in the case of series impedance line is less that for the uncompensated line. So I will repeat myself. The phase angle in the case of series impedance or series compensation line is less that of the uncompensated line. The reduced value of this angle gives higher stability. So we have to reduce this angle by a series compensation, and that will improve the system stability. And that angle you can call the power angle, you can say power angle obviously, or phase angle. Yes, both are okay. So load deviation among parallel lines. So this one is the third advantage of the series compensation. We will discuss series capacitors are used in transmission system for improving the load deviation between parallel lines. Okay, just remember, whenever the new line with a large power transfer capability is paralleled with an already existing line, then it is difficult to load, it is very difficult to load the new line without overloading the old line. So I'm just repeating myself. Okay, So whenever the new line with the large power transfer capability is paralleled with an already existing line, then it is difficult to load the new line without overloading the old line. So in such cases, the series compensation reduces the series reactances, and proper load division among parallel circuits can be done easily. Load division increases the power transfer capability of the system and reduced the losses. And the third one, the last one is the control of voltages. So for the as a fourth advantages of the series compensation, that is the control of voltage in actually in series capacitors, which we have added to compensate the transmission line. There is an automatic change in VAR, that is called reactive power, right? With the change in load current. I'm repeating myself again. In series capacitor, there is an automatic change in reactive power with the change in the load current. जैसे जैसे load current change होगा वैसे वैसे उसकी reactive power change होगी. That's what I want to say. So that's the drops in the voltage level due to sudden load variations are corrected instantly, obviously. So this is the advantage of series compensation in terms of control of the voltage. So move to the next slide to see what is next. That is the location of the series capacitor. If we are talking step by step about the series compensation, because these same steps are you can follow in the parallel compensation. Series compensation is like in my point of view is more important. Yeah, obviously parallel compensation, we also use parallel compensation to compensate the power transmission lines, but if you follow the series compensation, that's more easy to understand, and the same step can be followed for the parallel or the shunt compensation. So the other question you can say that where we can put that capacitor, because the ultra high voltage or the high voltage lines are actually long transmission lines. So for the long transmission line, we have to decide where to put that capacitor. So there are some strategies or some theory for that. You can say that the location of the series capacitor depends upon the economical and technical consideration of the line. So very easy answer for that. The series capacitor may be located at the sending and receiving end or at the center of the line. Sometimes they are located at two or more points along the line, right? So the degree of compensation and the characteristics of the line decided the location of the capacitor. The degree of compensation is actually the ratio of capacitive and inductive components, right? If we talk about the capacitor and inductor in the transmission line, so there will be a ratio, and that ratio will decide about the degree of compensation, and the degree of compensation will decide how much power you are going to compensate. Either it's 0%, 50%, 90, 70, whatever it is. So I'm repeating myself. The degree of compensation is the ratio of reactive components present in the transmission line, and the degree of compensation will decide how much power you compensate, which is going to compensation during the compensation in transmission line. So I was talking about the location of the capacitors in the transmission line. So the installation of the capacitor at the terminal provided the facility of maintenance, but the over voltage appearing across the terminals of the capacitors under fault condition will overstress the capacitor, obviously. If you connect there the terminal, then because the transmissions are not prone to the faults, because there will be some faults in the future. So whenever there will be fault, there will be a huge amount the huge current will be flowing through the transmission line, or maybe it's a open circuit faults or short circuit fault. You cannot predict what kind of fault will you face when you compensate in the series capacitor. So capacitor under fault condition will overstress the capacitor. That can be stress the capacitor you have put at the terminal of the transmission line. So you have to choose very careful about that. The capacitors are installed in the intermediate switching station of the comparatively long lines. The location at the center of the line also reduce the rating of the capacitor. Obviously, there will be some technicalities, but we are not going to discuss about that, because that can be a part of your protection systems course. So the rating of the series capacitor is given by some formulas which we can we can get from the internet very easily. So move to the next slide. So the next slide is the protection scheme of the series capacitor. Obviously, if we embed some capacitors, some extra capacitors to compensate our transmission line, so we have to provide some protection for that, because there will be a fault, and you already have designed your transmission lines parameters, and for the compensation you have put the extra capacitance or extra inductors in the transmission line, but for that you have to provide some extra protection for that. So whenever the fault or overload occurs, the large current will flow across the series capacitor of the line, thus the excessive voltage drop across the transmission line. For protecting the capacitor for such abnormal voltages, spark gaps and surge diverter are connected to the capacitor terminal. Surge diverter are like, just like if you have recall your memory for the introduction to power system, we can split the arc in the circuit breaker. So why we split the arc in the circuit breaker? The same phenomena is for the surge diverter. So if you have some questions, so before you ask question, go through your IPE course for the capacitor or the arc dispersion topic. So a circuit breaker is also connected in a parallel with that. Obviously, for the protection system we have to provide a circuit breaker, but remember, circuit breaker is not an intelligent device. It cannot operate by itself if it senses a fault. So we have to provide a relay for that. That can be a distance relay, that can be an impedance, that can be over voltage or whatever the scheme engineer has decided for that. So a circuit breaker is not an intelligent device, just remember for that. Okay, next, move to the next slide please. Okay, some of the problems associated with the series capacitor application are given in details. Some of the details I have written in the slide, and other than I will discuss orally. So the series compensation line produces series resonant at frequency lower than the power frequency. Obviously, there can be a resonance frequency. Okay, I just remember one thing more. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the Ferranti effect in the voltage is rise at the receiving end. So I have a question for you guys if you are listening my lectures. So is there any other reason for the rise in receiving end voltage other than Ferranti effect? मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि क्या कोई Ferranti effect से क्या होता है कि रिसीविंग एंड वोल्टेज होते हैं वो सेंडिंग एंड से ज़्यादा आ जाते हैं, ऐसा ही होता है ना? तो क्या मुझे आप ये बता सकते हैं, ये क्वेश्चन है आप लोगों के लिए, कि इज़ देयर एनी अदर इफेक्ट और मेथड जिसमें जो है रिसीविंग एंड वोल्टेज जो है वो सेंडिंग एंड से ज़्यादा हो जाए? So just research about that, think about it. We will discuss in the live lecture about this question. So I'm coming to the topic. So the series compensation of the line produces series resonance of the frequency lower than the power frequency. Obviously, this is known as the subsynchronous resonance. There is a terminology used for that, so you have to remember that. So the subsynchronous produces mechanical stresses due to which high Trojanal stress occur at the rotor shafts. Because I already have told you in some of my lectures that whenever the fault occurs in the transmission line, it can directly affect the generator or the generation machines, because you can drawing power from that generation part. If a long transmission line at the remote and there will be a fault, if your protection scheme failed, your generation or your generating machine will be affected directly. So obviously if you have some resonant trigonal, so it will affect the rotor shaft. The problem of subsynchronous resonance mostly occur during the faults or switching operation. जब फॉल्ट आता है या आप स्विचिंग करते हो तभी ये इस तरह के मसले मसाइल आ सकते हैं. सो द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ subsynchronous with series compensation line is overcome by the many kind of things in which a series capacitor produces we can talk about the other problems. The other problem is series capacitor produces a high recovery voltage across the breaker contacts. And the other one is, if the degree of compensation and location of the capacitor are not proper, the distance relay used for line protection may not be function properly. So अच्छा, ये मैं थोड़ा इसको आपको समझाना चाह रहा हूँ कि जैसे अभी पिछले स्लाइड्स में बात की है कि आपने चूज़ करनी होती है वो जगह जहाँ पे आप लोग कैपेसिटर को चूज़ कर सको कि आपने कैपेसिटर कहाँ पे लगाना है. सो अगर वो गलती से किसी और जगह लग गया या आपने सही उसकी कैलकुलेशन से नहीं लगाया, ऑब्वियसली वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू टेल यू अबाउट द कैलकुलेशन ऑफ द कैपेसिटर इन द सीरीज कंपोजिशन, बिकॉज दैट कैन बी अ वेरी in depth knowledge which is not फेवरेबल और इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर द बैचलर्स डिग्री. कि यहाँ पे उसको इस तरह होता है कि यहाँ लगाया तो ये नहीं है कि आपने इसको कहीं पे भी लगा दिया. यू हैव टू सम कैलकुलेशन फॉर दैट, ताकि जो आपकी एक प्रोटेक्शन स्कीम है वो फेल ना हो जाए। अगर किसी और गलत जगह लग गया तो प्रोटेक्शन स्कीम कैसे फेल होती है? देखें उसने लफ्ज़ किया है द डिस्टेंस रिले यूज्ड फॉर द लाइन प्रोटेक्शन में नॉट फंक्शन प्रॉपर्ली। ऑब्वियसली डिस्टेंस रिले जो होती है ना वो इम्पीडेंस पे इनडायरेक्टली काम कर रही होती हैं, और इम्पीडेंस जो होती है वो चेंज हो जाती है। आपको पता है सारे जो रिएक्टिव कंपोनेंट और एक्टिव कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं वो पूरी लाइन पे यूनिफॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड होते हैं, और जब आपने कंपनसेशन के लिए एक अलग से कैपेसिटर लगा दिया उसके अंदर या इंडक्टर लगा दिया तो उसके जो सारे यूनिफॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड थे वो चेंज हो गए, और अगर वो चेंज हो गए तो ऑब्वियसली उसकी इंपीडेंस भी चेंज हो गया। जब इंपीडेंस चेंज हुई है तो उसके हिसाब से जो उसका करंट उसके अंदर से फ्लो होना वो भी चेंज होगा, और जब करंट फ्लो चेंज होगा तो ऑब्वियसली आपकी रिले ने जो सेंस करना है उसके फंक्शन में फ़र्क आएगा। सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल व्हेन यू चूज द लोकेशन ऑफ द कैपेसिटर. So these are just like some problems associated with the series capacitor. So the other one is the switching of the okay, I just remember one more thing, that the switching in of an unloaded transformer at the end of the series compensation of the line may produce non-linear resonance or ferro resonance. ठीक है, ये भी एक this kind of effect you can keep in your mind. So this is the problem associated with the series capacitors in series compensation of the transmission line. So move to the next slide. So that is the shunt compensation. Okay, the shunt compensation, like if you remember the first slide, there will be a reactors connected in the parallel with the transmission line. So the purpose of the shunt compensation is to obviously to improve the voltage control and voltage stability, power delivery. So all the purposes of the compensation is same, but there are just two techniques which are different approach for that, like series compensation or parallel compensation. If you master one compensation, that it's okay. For the time being it's okay. So the first I will read some slides and then we will discuss in details if I think it's important to get in details. The general purpose of shunt compensation is to keep the voltage rise down during light or no load condition. Obviously if there is no load in the transmission line, there can be a rise in the receiving end voltage due to Ferrante effect. So for that we have to embed the shunt components to reduce that voltage. Obviously we have discussed in the front effect this phenomena. In general shunt compensation can be implemented by the use of shunt reactors. Inductors को कहते हैं shunt capacitor. Obviously आप capacitor parallel में भी लगा सकते हो, ये याद रखिएगा. स्टैटिक वॉल कंट्रोलर, ये भी एक तरह के रिएक्टिव पावर को कंट्रोल करने के लिए चीज़ें होती हैं, और इसमें क्या होता है साथ साथ इनमें स्विचिंग दी होती है, आप स्विचिंग भी कर सकते हो इसके साथ. एंड सिंक्रोनस कंडेंसर, ऑब्वियसली दिस आर द सिंक्रोनस मोटर्स विच आर connected parallel to improve the power factor. You have already learned that, but by improving the power factor they already compensate the power in the compensation, parallel compensation. In shunt compensation, power system is connected in the shunt parallel with the FACTS. FACTS is mean flexible AC transmission systems. It works as the controllable current source. Obviously shunt compensation is of two types, that is two types of compensation. One is the shunt capacitive compensation, in which we use shunt capacitors or capacitor bank in parallel, and then other one is the shunt inductive compensation, in which we use the reactor or inductor connected in parallel to compensation in the transmission line. So I will discuss about this shunt capacitive compensation a little bit. Like this method is used to improve the power factor. Actually I'm talking about the shunt capacitor because आप लोगों को पता है ना कि पावर फैक्टर इंप्रूव करने के लिए भी पैरेलल में कैपेसिटर लगाते हैं. ये कैपेसिटर ऐसे नहीं है मुंह चुक के कोई भी लगा दिए. We have to calculate proper calculations for that. So this method is used to improve the power factor. Actually whenever an inductive load is connected to the transmission line, so there will be a lagging power factor. Obviously to compensate, a shunt capacitor is connected which draws current leading the source voltage. The net result is improving in the power factor. When the power factor improved, then there will be a better chance for the power delivery and the voltage regulation, because you already know about the power triangle. Just go through it, you will understand my point. So the other one is the shunt inductive compensation. This method is used to either when charging the transmission line. Charging means जब आप उसको पावर अप करते हो, अभी लोड नहीं लगा हुआ, सिर्फ चार्ज किया हुआ, ठीक है. और when there is a very low load at the receiving end, due to very low or no load, very low current flow through the transmission line, and then for that shunt capacitance is the transmission line causes voltage amplification, and that voltage amplification we already learned because it's called Ferrante effect. So the receiving end voltage may becomes double at the sending end voltage. Generally, in case of very long transmission line, this can be happen. But to compensate, shunt inductors are connected across the transmission line. अच्छा, मैंने इसलिए इस पे इतना ज़्यादा एम्फोसाइज नहीं किया हुआ क्योंकि शंट में ना बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो आप ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हो. इफ़ यू नो वी कैन यूज़ द व्हाई वी यूज़ द कैपेसिटर इन पैरेलल, तो आपको इसकी कंपोजिशन का बताना चाहिए. आपको पता है कि पैरेलल में कैपेसिटर लगाएं तो पावर फैक्टर इंप्रूव होता है, पैरेलल में सिंक्रोनस कंडेंसर लगाएं तो पावर फैक्टर इंप्रूव होता है, पैरेलल में रिएक्टर्स लगा दें तो फ्रंटी इफेक्ट इंप्रूव होता है, और उसके और भी रिएक्टिव और एक्टिव कंपोनेंट्स में चेंजिंग आती है. तो ऑब्वियसली इसीलिए मैंने सीरीज को थोड़ा ज़्यादा एम्फोसाइज किया है, पैरेलल पे इतना ज़्यादा नहीं कर रहा हूँ. क्यों? यू ऑलरेडी हैव मच नॉलेज फॉर दैट, एंड मेरा नहीं ख्याल इस पर ज़्यादा टाइम ज़ाया करने की ज़रूरत है. सो मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ओके, ये थोड़ी सी थेरी है. आई विल जस्ट डिस्कस अबाउट दिस. एट द बस वेयर रिएक्टिव पावर डिमांड इंक्रीजेस द बस वोल्टेज कंट्रोल्ड बाय द कनेक्टिंग कैपेसिटर बैंक्स इन पैरेलल टू लैगिंग लोड. Capacitor banks supply a part of or a full reactive power of load which reduces magnitude of the source needed to supply load. ठीक है. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई वोल्टेज ड्रॉप है, दैट इज वी डी आई आर उसका रियल कंपोनेंट है, एंड एक्सएल एंड एक्स सी आर दी एक्सएल और एक्सएस और आई सी जो इसके हैं, ये रिएक्टिव कंपोनेंट्स हैं. और अगर आप इसको गौर से देखो तो दिस एक्सप्रेशन फॉर द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द वोल्टेज ड्रॉप्स ऑफ द वोल्टेज राइज ड्यू टू द इंस्टॉलेशन ऑफ द कैपेसिटर इन वी आर वी. अब ये एक्चुअली ये है क्या? अब ये इसमें थोड़े से इसके ड्रॉबैक्स बताने की कोशिश की जाएगी आप लोगों को कि अगर कैपेसिटर में वोल्टेज लगा दिए हैं तो उसके ड्रॉबैक्स क्या हैं. ठीक है, तो इसको हम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में देखेंगे. Okay, ये हैं the drawbacks of using shunt capacitor are as follows. The shunt capacitor does not affect current or power factor beyond their point of application. ये मेरे ख्याल से इसको उर्दू में बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. The reactive power which is supplied by the shunt capacitor or the synchronous condenser banks is directly proportional to the bus voltage, obviously because they are connected in parallel. So जितना पैरेलल में वोल्टेज होगा obviously इनके क्रॉस भी उतना ही वोल्टेज आएगा. So this can be a drawback. When the reactive power is required less on light load, the capacitor bank's output will be high. क्योंकि कैपेसिटर ने तो अपने हिसाब से चार्ज होके उसको कंपनसेशन कर दिया. कैपेसिटर डोंट नो कि आपने लोड पे कुछ लगाया हुआ या नहीं लगाया हुआ. क्यों? कैपेसिटर कनेक्टेड इन पैरेलल. ठीक है जी. तो और कैपेसिटर ऑब्वियसली आपको पता है कि वोल्टेज स्टोरिंग डिवाइस है, तो उसको तो कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ेगा. तो इसलिए दी कैपेसिटर बैंक आउटपुट विल बी हाई. सो इट कैन इंटरफेयर विद योर फेरेंटी इफेक्ट, बिकॉज अगर वोल्टेज हाई ही करना है हमने तो फिर हम कैपेसिटर क्यों लगा रहे हैं? हमने तो शुरू में हाई वोल्टेज को कम करने के लिए तो इंडक्टर लगाया ताकि फेरेंटी इफेक्ट कम हो जाए. और अगर उसकी जगह कैपेसिटर दोबारा ठोक देंगे ट्रांसमिशन लाइन पैरेलल में, तो वो हो सकता है वो फेरेंटी इफेक्ट को कंपनसेट करने के लिए जो आपने रिएक्टर या इंडक्टर लगाया हुआ उसके इफेक्ट को कैंसिल आउट कर दें. सो you have to be very careful as an engineer, as a power engineer, to whenever to select these kind of capacitor or inductor, or whenever you question or answer the interview or technical questions if somebody asks for you. Move to the next slide. Okay, these are some devices which are used for the compensation, that is static synchronous compensator, STATCOM. ये obviously पता है synchronous compensator है, synchronous condenser भी कह सकते हो. So in a shunt connected device is injected dynamically inductive or capacitive reactive power into the transmission grid. Its main function is voltage stability and reactive power control of the transmission system and system buses. अच्छा, ये बात याद रखिएगा, जो भी आपने ये जितने भी आपने ये लाइक कंपनसेटर यूज़ करने हैं या कोई इफेक्ट्स डिवाइसेस यूज़ करनी है, सबका पर्पस वही है, वोल्टेज स्टेबिलिटी है, रिएक्टिव पावर कंट्रोल, एक्टिव पावर कंट्रोल और कंपनसेशन है, और कोई पर्पस नहीं है. अगर वो चीज़ें सही हो जाती हैं तो और कोई मसला ही नहीं है. हम क्यों ज़्यादातर डिवाइसेस पढ़ेंगे? तो यहाँ पे एक चंद एक डिवाइसेस हैं जिनके आपको नाम याद हो और थोड़ा बहुत पता हो कि किस लिए यूज़ है, दैट्स इनफ. The next slide, that is a static VAR compensator, SVCS भी कहते हैं इनको. They are the fast and reliable means of controlling voltage of lines and system. इनमें सिर्फ एक बात याद रखने वाली है कि ये ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिनमें आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हो, अपनी मर्जी से इनको ऑन ऑफ करवा सकते हो. कैपेसिटर को आप ऐसे नहीं कर सकते कि आपका दिल करे इतने टाइम के बाद कैपेसिटर ऑन ऑफ हो जाए. आपको उसके लिए अलग से एक कंट्रोलिंग सिस्टम लगाना पड़ेगा. बट फॉर द स्टैटिक वीआर कंपनसेटर वी कैन यूज थायरिस्टर फॉर दैट. Thyristor for that. So reactor can be either switch thyristor, switch reactors, or controlled thyristor, control reactor. That is like TSC, TCR, SVC, and SVC, like that. These are just the controlling names or controlling devices name. Like if all obviously they are all thyristor controlled, because thyristor can be controlled by external signal. So we can control the capacitor or inductor by thyristors, and that's why their name TSC, thyristor switched capacitor, and TCR, thyristor controlled reactors. So when a system voltage is low, the SVC supplies reactive power and rises the network voltage. When the system voltage is high, the SVC generates inductive reactant power and reduces the system voltage. That is a very beautiful line. So just remember that. So move to the next slide, please. So static VR compensator, you have to go through by yourself to this slide, because it's all about the thyristor based control reactors and capacitors, their names and other things. There is no conceptual things in which we have to discuss in depth. Move to the next slide. So thank you so much for that lecture. Just if you have any question, just listen this lecture again and again, and I have asked some questions for that. Just go through these questions and we will discuss in the live lecture. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.